So now, there are some materials going to be covered in the final exam. And so I want to give you some more ideas about what's going on there, and you need to be very careful because there will be several questions on this. So the first point is the goods in a consumption bundle cannot be all inferior. Cannot be all inferior. Sorry. So we have two ways to prove it, but you know the final exam will be multiple choice, so you don't have to prove it. And so this is the conclusion we have. Summation SI times EMI is equal to 1. So I is from 1 to n. Suppose the consumption bundle include n goods. And so what is SI? SI is the proportion of the income spent on good I. And EMI is the income elasticity of good I. And so if the goods in a consumption bundle are all inferior, this one will be negative, right? And for the proportion spent on good I will be non-negative, so it's positive or 0, right? So if SI is positive or 0, and if all goods are inferior, this one will never hold. So because of that, okay? And the second question we're gonna discuss is that suppose a supply curve looks like this. So a farmer, the supply curve, the supply function of a farmer is Q is equal to 10 plus P, okay? So as we talked about it before, if there's one person, okay, this one person is the market, okay? So it is the individual supply and also the market supply. But let us say if we have 10 persons like this, okay, we have 10 persons like this. So how to get to the market supply curve? So we say, what is a market supply? The market supply is at any given price. Suppose how many you have, right? We have 10 now. So horizontally and then up. And so if you have one person, that's the market supply. But then you have 10 persons, you have to add at any given price, the quantity added 10 times, okay? So let us say P is equal to 1, right? If P is equal to 1, what will be Q? Q will be equal to 11, but that's for only one farmer, right? Now, how many do we have? We have 10. So it will be 11, but now we have 10, right? So it will be 110, okay? Any questions so far? So then, what about we have at price 2, then the quantity will be 12, right? But that's only one farmer. How many do we have now? We have 10. So Q will be equal to 120. And so from this formula, we have 2 points, right? If you have 2 points, then we get to the line. So P minus 1 and P minus 2. Here you have Q minus 110, Q minus 120. Okay, so you have PQ. Okay, PQ minus 120Q minus Q. Sorry. 120P, sorry. So PQ and minus 120P and minus Q plus 120. And here it will be PQ minus 110P minus 2Q plus 220. Okay, so cancel out. And here we move that to this side and this to the other side. So negative 2P to the left-hand side, so we have positive Q and 120P negative. Here you have positive 10P, and then 120 to the other side you have 100. So this will be market supply. So suppose and the supply of an individual farmer looks like this, and suppose there are 10 farmers in the market, this will be the market supply curve. Okay, questions? Okay, let's get to market demand. So suppose we have a demand curve looks like this. So P is equal to 20 minus 3Q. Okay. Suppose we have 3 consumers like this. Okay. So this is the individual individual demand curve. And suppose we have 3 persons like this. Okay. So the formula, the reasoning is the same. So in this way, it is a little bit awkward. So let's move Q to the other side. That will be easier to calculate it. So we have 3Q is equal to 20 minus P. Okay? And then Q is equal to 20 over 3 minus P over 3. Okay. Questions? Because of this, it is a little bit, difficult to calculate. So sometimes we need to find a number, right, to make the calculation a little bit easier. Remember that we have 3 persons like this. So anyway, I think, because we say we have 3 persons, right, that makes the calculation a little bit easier. So the same thing, we have P equal 1, right? If P equals to 1, then it will be, Q will be equal to 19 over 3, right? But what happens is that we have 3 persons looks the same like that, right? 3. So you have to time it by 3. So Q will be 19, okay? And then P equals 2. Q will be, 18 over 3, okay? But we have 3 persons like that. So you will be 18. Okay? So the same thing. We got 2 points, then we can get to a line. So P minus 1, P minus 2, here Q minus 19, Q minus 18. Okay, the same kind of calculation. So P times Q minus 18P minus Q plus 18 equal to P, Q minus 19P minus 2Q plus 38. Questions? So cancel out here. So you have negative 18P there, 2Q there. So we move negative 2Q to the other side, we get Q, and negative 18P to the other side, you have negative P, and then plus 20. Okay? So this will be the market demand curve. It will be in the test. So do a little bit exercise here. Okay, questions? Now we get to the intertemporal choice. Okay. Remember I said this before, it's a little bit twisty. So if a person borrows money from others, if a person borrows money from others, if the interest rate goes down, he will continue to borrow money, And the other is, if a person is a lender, or is a saver, he saves money or lends money to others. If the interest rate goes up, he will continue to lend money to the others. Okay? So let us check what's going on here. First, okay? So the income year one or period one is Y1, and here you have Y2, right? Okay? And let us say this person is a, so hold on. Sorry, it is a little bit too narrow there. Maybe I have to draw it again. But let me ask this question first. So we know the choice is here, 0.1 and 0.2, right? Okay. So Zheng Yilin, can you tell us what is this person? He's a borrower or lender? What is this person? He's a borrower or lender? What means a borrower? Yes. So his income is here, right? His income is here. His consumption will be here. Okay, so he's a borrower or he's a lender. Lender means saver, right? He saves money, and so then he has money to lend to others. So what is this person? Lender or borrower? Lender, okay? Because his consumption is here, right? But his income is there, right? So he has more income. The consumption is less than his income. So he has money left to be able to lend to others. Oh, he's a saver. Let me draw this picture to make it bigger, okay? To make it bigger. Sorry. Okay, so we have here Y1, Y2, okay? There are several possibilities, okay? As I have told you before, interest rate is the price of borrowing or lending, right? And so in this case, it is a signal to the borrowers or the lenders, okay? So we have two effects, remember that? The first effect is substitution effect. The second effect is called income effect. Remember that? Okay. For substitution effect, we say substitution effect is always negative. Okay. If something becomes more expensive, then you buy less. If something becomes cheaper, you buy more. So if interest rate goes up, okay, interest rate goes up, what happens? It becomes more expensive to consume. And so for substitution effect, consumption will go down. Okay? For income effect, it really depends on who you are. If you are a lender, so you lend money to others, interest rate goes up, you get more interest income. So the income effect will be going up. Okay? More consumption. But suppose you are the borrower, right? Interest rate goes up, you have to pay more out of your pocket to get consumption. And so in this case, you are a borrower, interest rate goes up. Your interest burden goes up, so you consume less. So that's the reason I told you, okay? In macroeconomics, okay, in macroeconomics, we talk about general rule, right? So in macroeconomics, there's no dispute. Interest rate goes up, consumption goes down, and investment goes down. Okay, that's why we say in macroeconomics. Just like the same thing we talk about the law of demand, right? The law of demand tells you that price goes up, quantity goes down. Price goes down, quantity goes up. But we are discussing microeconomics, right? So we have law of demand, basically the same thing. Price goes up, quantity goes down, price goes down, quantity goes up. That's for sure. But we know that there's a good called given goods, right? Remember that? So in microeconomics, the discussion is a little bit complicated because we are not just talking about the general rule, like the law of demand. So that's the same thing here, okay? In macroeconomics, we talk about the whole phenomena of a society. So this holds, but for individual person, you really have to pay attention to the income effect because for some people they are borrowers, some people they are lenders. They have different reaction to the price signal. So that's the interest rate, okay? Okay, but so let me get to this part. Sorry. So here is point 1. Here is point 2. Okay? So now we need to dissect substitution effect and income effect. So let us say originally the interest rate is a little bit lower, and now the interest rate goes up. Okay? So how are we going to dissect the income effect and substitution effect? So first of all, this is the original situation. Okay? And so what you're going to do, you need to find out a new budget line, right? Parallel to the new budget line and tangent to the indifference curve. So it will be something like this. So this will be point 3, okay? So what happened is that from 1 to 3, that is substitution effect. As we say, right? Substitution effect is always negative. Okay, interest rate goes up, the price for consumption goes up, so you consume less. But this person, what is it? He is a saver. He lends money to others. So because of that, the income effect varies from 3 to 2. Okay, from 3 to 2, that's the income effect. Because he lends money to others. Interest rate goes up, he gets more interest payment. And so his income goes up, he consumes more. Okay? So in this case, actually, this person ends up consume a little bit more. Now I'm going to talk to you about why I say if interest rate goes up, okay, this person is a lender or he's a saver, then he will continue to lend. Okay, this is called revealed preference. Revealed preference. There are several ways to deal with the behaviors of consumers. So first, the chapter 1, chapter 2, right? We talk about supply demand, and then we get to what's the equilibrium market price, the equilibrium market quantity. Okay, that's one way, right? The second way is that we figure out this person's preference. So we have utility function or indifference curve. And then we have this person's budget line, how much he has. So with preference, utility function, with budget line, we can get to how much you consume, okay, X, Y, whatever, okay? And the other way is by revealed preference. This is indirect, okay? Revealed preference, we look at what he consumed, okay? So for example, what I consume in terms of breakfast, lunch, whatever products, right? So that is a cost, okay? What I'm going to tell you is that revealed preference has a little bit limited ability to infer what you really like. But we look at what you purchase. Okay, that's the way to infer it. But the point is, okay, so let us say I'm driving a Toyota, okay? I'm driving a Toyota. Does that mean I don't like Benz? I don't like BMW? No. But why I don't buy it? Because I cannot afford it, okay? So we can only infer from what you purchase, okay? But suppose we know your behavior at a certain point, we can infer from that and to see what you're going to choose, okay? So let us look at this one. So here, this is your first choice, right? Okay, look at this triangle. Okay, this triangle is your first budget line. Okay, so this is your choice. So what does that mean? When the price is like this, your choice is at 0.1 here. Okay, 0.1 here. What does that mean? That means all the rest, okay, all the rest is inferior, or let us say not as satisfied as 0.1. Okay. What does that mean? That means when the price changes, okay, when the price changes, all the goods, all the consumption bundles below this will no longer be optimal. If you're gonna choose anything, it will be here and above, okay, and here and above. So what does that mean? That means it reveals that your preference has to be here. That's the reason I say if a person is a lender, okay, is a saver, if interest rate goes up, he will continue to lend, continue to save. So the choice is here, okay? Okay, let us look at the second example. So I would recommend you to do some exercise like this, okay, drawing charts, drawing diagrams that will help you to understand more. Okay, this is a case for lender, okay, or saver. Let us try the other one. Okay, so this case will be a borrower. Okay, so the consumption choice is here. Point 1 here, point 2 here. Okay? So the same thing, right? This is the first budget line. And so the consumer, okay, he chooses this point, right? He chooses this point. So whatever is below this line, okay, whatever is below this line is revealed not as satisfied as this one. So this is the best choice, right? And so the rest of it is all worse than this one, okay? So when now, okay, the budget line, the price, okay, the interest rate changes to this one, right? So what does that mean? That means in this case, okay, when the budget line is like this, your choice is here. So it's never, so everything below, okay, everything below is not good, right? And so when the price turns to this way, you look at this section, right? This section is within this area. And so what does that mean? You will never choose this, because when the price is like this, you don't choose this section. And so when the price looks like that, you will always move out. This is the way to reveal your preference. Okay, now again, how to dissect the substitution effect and income effect. So this is the new budget line. So you have to draw a budget line that tangent to the indifference curve, but parallel to the new budget line. So it will be something like this. Okay, so this is point 3. So point 1, 2, 3 is substitution effect. As I say, substitution effect is always negative. Now interest rate goes down, so the price for consumption goes down. So this guy will consume more. And this guy is a borrower, but because interest rate goes down, what happened? His interest payment burden goes down. So he got more income. So 3 to 2, okay, is income effect. Okay? Okay, let's get to 2 more points, then we will move on to the other sections. Okay, so here in this case, right? The consumption, let us say it is C1 here. Okay, C1, sorry, it's a little bit messy. So C1 here, Y1 here, okay? So we want to figure out what is the consumption level at period 2. Okay, so what is the consumption level at period 2? So that's C2, right? So of course he has income, Y2. Okay, so that's the consumption because he saves money. So he doesn't have to pay back the debt. And so Y2 still is what he can consume. And then here, okay, he saves money. He saves Y1 minus C1, right? Y1 minus C1. And for this amount of saving, when he gets to the next period, what you get? You get 1 plus R, interest plus principal, okay? What about this one? This one, he's a borrower, so he borrows money. He has to pay back the interest payment, okay? So in this case, how much does he borrow? He borrow here is C1, right? And so C1 minus Y1. This is the amount he borrows, okay? But you know that when you pay back the money, you have to pay back not just the principal, but also the interest payment. So it will be 1 plus R, okay? Sorry, I should have put it this way. Okay, this is the amount you have to pay back, right? So your income is Y2. You have to deduct, okay, subtract whatever you owe others, okay? So your your consumption at period 2, okay, your consumption at period 2 is the income you have at period 2 and minus whatever you have to pay back to the lender, okay? So you have two cases. This one is a saver. Saver got interest income, okay? But, you know, for a borrower, you have to pay back whatever money you owe, okay? Questions? Okay, let's get to the case we have here. That's what we call cash grant. Cash grant or in-kind subsidy. Cash grant, that's easy, right? So for example, some of you, you apply for scholarship and you get money, okay, you get cash, okay? But sometimes people using other ways to give you subsidy. For example, let us say if you apply for a scholarship, but the scholarship, doesn't give you money, but give you what? Give certificate for books. If you get cash, that's easy, right? But suppose you get give certificate for books. So what does that mean? You get sort of something like money, but can you buy food? Can you buy gasoline for your motorbike? No, you have to pay. Use it to pay for books. Okay. Of course, there must be a reason for that. Okay. But anyway, how do we analyze this kind of situation with consumer behavior, the tool we have, budget line, indifference curve, okay? I want to erase this part, okay? Get it? Okay. Okay, so now we get back. We are no longer at the intertemporal consumption. We are talking about, choose two goods at the same time. So let us say this is book, and this is non-book, whatever that is not book. Okay. So this is the budget line. your budget line looks like this. But then, let us say you apply for scholarship and you get some gift certificates for books. Okay, so what